guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 22, Book 1, MENOX the Saber-Tooth Terror. That's right guys, another series of Beast Quest has officially begun. So for like always, of course, in-depth story analysis and my overall thoughts on this epic adventure. So let's get through with this. A great party was being held for the return of Prince Thomas, but it was soon disturbed when Admiral Riker brought in a desperate man from the land of Makai, claiming his home was under the rule of a powerful tyrant, Rhea, the daughter of Kensa and Sampeo. Tom and Eleanor seem not at all shocked about this, which tells me this story takes place in a bit further ahead in time, or they simply don't care of who the parents are of Rhea. Or maybe she appears in a special before this series, so that they know who that character was, but who knows. Nonetheless, the man said she had brought back the lost beasts of Makai under her control by sending the sacred tokens to revive the fallen beasts. She was preparing not only to take Makai, but Avantia too, as revenge for her parents. She was planning to take a whole fleet of flying ships and head to Avantia. So not wanting any havoc to come, Tom and Eleanor and Daltic decided to go and deal with Rhea's forces before any further harm could occur. I do like that Daltic comes along because, you know, Kensa, being the daughter of Kensa and all that, she's a magical foe. It's nice to have some magical backup, even though when they faced Kensa in previous quests, Daltic never helped with that. He never went, I mean, I know he did help, but he never went with them, per se. I do like he's growing a bit more as a character. Tom and friends arrived on the pirate-infested land of Makai, they arrived on the pirate land of Makai. Daltic was in disguise and instructed not to use his magic because pirates hate magic, but only use it if extremely necessary. And Adra told him to do that. So, Daltic was in disguise and Adra told him not to use magic unless he was really needed to. After some wandering through an empty town, they were ambushed by some pirates. Not wanting to blow their cover, our heroes acted all cowardly-like. Soon the pirates said, work for us, or be thrown off the jetty. So they did, of course. Tom and friends were on their way to some forging grounds, but on the way we get some information that Sampeo has passed away and has been eaten by some sort of beast. I'm guessing this was in a special. Our heroes arrived and were put to work. It wasn't long before Rhea showed up and questioned who Tom was. Tom was about to reply when he was saved by a pirate who accidentally disturbed Rhea. As punishment, he was fed to the beast known as MENOX, who lay down below in a pit, which kinda reminds me of the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars. When the victim fell in, his yells went silent, and Tom wondered what type of beast was down there. Eleanor saw a moment to retrieve the keys and unhook their shackles. She soon passed them to Tom and Daltic, then the other slaves. While Daltic made a distraction, Tom and Eleanor retrieved their weapons. However, the rebellion was short-lived when Daltic was caught and his identity was exposed to Rhea. She knew that with Daltic being here, that meant Tom and Eleanor were close by as well. She said if they didn't come out, they would feed Daltic to MENOX. So our heroes did expose themselves. When Eleanor demanded that they let Daltic go, they just shoved him in a chest and tossed him down the pit. Great. Tom and Eleanor fought their way free. Rhea made a retreat while Eleanor fought the pirates off. Tom dived into the pit to rescue Daltic. He finally met the beast, MENOX, a giant saber-toothed rat with a horn plate on the tip of its snout. Tom lured MENOX's attention to save Daltic, but soon he was ambushed when a pirate shot him from above. When Tom looked up, he saw MENOX towering over him. It's at this point they reveal that Tom has his shield powers back, which is what I expected after their fight with Malvel. That's nice to hear. Tom got his second wind and won, and fought on. Tom got his second wind and fought on, giving Daltic enough time to escape. With the aid of Eleanor, Tom injured MENOX and climbed his way out of the pit, with MENOX following in pursuit. Our heroes closed the lid of the pit just in time, but they knew that it wouldn't stop him forever. Everyone ran in panic when MENOX broke free. The beast began destroying the mine, causing hot metal to be poured in multiple directions, one of which was heading straight for a little girl. Tom used his golden armor powers to save the girl just in time. He then had an idea how to beat MENOX. Back in the pit, he figured out MENOX was not only a big fan of the... he went back in the pit MENOX, he figured out that MENOX was not really a big fan of heat. So Tom told Eleanor and Daltek to get the chimney going. After luring the beast towards the chimney with the help of a pulley system, Tom tricked MENOX into falling into the chimney mouth, engulfing MENOX in flames. The girl Tom saved gave Tom a token from MENOX's remains and one of his teeth, and the people had captured one of Rhea's pirates by the name of One Eye. Tom decided to take him with them as a guide. At first he refused, but Tom said if he helped them, they would let him go. So yeah, that is essentially the setup for Series 22, MENOX the Saber-Tooth Terror. As you can see, there wasn't much story to go off. It was a very simple point A to point B. It was very short, I felt, that book was. I know why it's meant to be short, because you're meant to set up the story, but each chapter felt shorter than previous chapters. When I know Beast Quest is getting shorter with only 8 chapters, but even this book had 8 chapters and it felt shorter than other ones. I guess they just wanted to rush this one up a bit. Nonetheless, though, I still enjoyed this book. It's like, it kind of reminds me of Fang, where you have like mining slaves and you have this beast down. Well, the beast wasn't in charge. The beast was more like, as like a torture if you would screw things up. Which is kind of what Fang was, only Fang, I guess Fang was a better version of this, but it was still a nice callback to that little formula, like free the slaves and all that. I still liked it. So, and you know, let's go into the characters real quick as we always do. But yeah, I think I did, before you go into characters any further though, I think I did a good job on the analysis. A few scuffles here and there, but nothing too major. Anyway, now let's go over the characters. Starting off with Tom. Tom, of course, being the hero. This is another one of his books where he saves the day. He's the one who saves the girl. He's the one who apparently figures out a plan to beat MENOX, because like I said, in the he finds out the weakness in the pit, which is MENOX isn't a big fan of heat, and that's what leads to his downfall. So there's that. Not much to Tom, of course, because the story was so rush paced. But for what it's worth, he seemed to have more focus on than Eleanor did. So yeah, Eleanor, of course, she gets shafted again in this book. She does have, the only thing she does really is help give the keys and provide a distraction. Same with Daltek, really. But Daltek was even more useless than Eleanor, really. He gets captured, thrown to the pit, and he's like the storm, where he's meant to be the damsel this time around. And the only thing he does really of help necessary really is he helped Eleanor help as the distraction while Tom gets the beast on his way. But yeah, that's all there is to our heroes. Rhea seems like an interesting villain. I'm interested to see how she goes. I feel like she would make, as a young person, she might make some mistakes. But, you know, there's enough potential for this character to build her up, so we'll see. I can't say much about her in this book because this is just the book 1. But the way she goes, like, as soon as Tom goes, instead of fighting him, she just retreats, like many other previous villains. Okay, hopefully we can get some better things. Maybe because she's not ready. Because her plan is to, she wants to get her ships flying. Like a whole fleet of ships flying, but she hasn't got them to fly yet. And instead of using the Tree of Being like Sanpeio's ship, she wants all her ships to fly. So she's going to look for something called the Elixir Wells, which is this power source which will make them fly. So that's what the plot is going on next. I believe it's for the Elixir Wells. It is, yeah, it is the Elixir Wells. But yeah, Rhea is an interesting villain. Enough hype for her to build her up. Moving on to, I'm not going to go over One Eye because he's like a side villain, and then he'll get more probably a focus in the next book. Next, I'm not going to go over the girl because she was just another minor character. I guess we'll just go straight to the beast now, MENOX himself. MENOX is just a setup beast. There isn't really much to him. He's pretty much one note. He has a one note weakness. His one note ability is strength, and he's just a nice average starter beast, really. I do think he gets a good death, though, if anything, engulfing in the flames in a chimney. So that's a nice death to see. Nonetheless, though, I think MENOX the Saber-Tooth Terror is a decent starter book. Nonetheless, I give it a good position of where it stands. I can't compare it to anything because this is the first book of the series, but for what it is, I think it's a good starter book. this is my little shot at doing none other than MENOX the saber-tooth terror. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, go subscribe, that good stuff. Hit that notification bell button right in the corner so you can stay in tune with all Lego Beast Quest related topics on my channel, and various other contents on that. Various other contents on there as well, including Lego DC Superman's custom builds. But yeah, there's my little read up of MENOX, guys, the saber-tooth terror. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and our next time on Beast Quest we'll be continuing on with Series 22, and that'll be none other than LARNAK, the Swarming Menace. Yep, that is LARNAK, the Swarming Menace. Till next time, guys, peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 22, Book 2, LARNAK, the Swarming Menace. That's right, guys, we're back again with another exciting epic adventure of Beast Quest. And this time it's LARNAK. So like always, in-depth story analysis and my overall thoughts on this epic adventure. So, here we go. Tom and friends were continuing on their journey with the pirate One-Eye as their hostage to lead them to Rhea's next location. We do get some info that tells us that Tom has faced Rhea before, so this adds on she was already introduced in a special. The group also came across a dangerous cliff. They had no choice but to let One-Eye out of his shackles. He led them forwards, only to push our heroes off the cliff towards their doom. Already a nice start. Our heroes are in the first chapter. They trust this One-Eye guy as their hostage, and he let him out of the shackles. And as soon as he gets out, boom, they go over the cliff. Tom joined his friends at the bottom of the canyon, where they fell. They were introduced to some lions. After a scuffle, they went into a cave, and soon enough found a way out. Tom lost his boot, and there was no time to magic another. But as they continued on, they found a trail that One-Eye left that could probably lead them straight on to Rhea. So that's good news. They have a trail straight to Rhea now. But also, not only could this trail lead them to Rhea, but also the rotting shed of a skin that belonged to a beast. Ooh, kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z when you see the skin where the villain Cell sheds his skin to get a better form. That kind of reminds me of that. When you see the artwork, you'll know what I mean. Tom and friends continued their pursuit to find Rhea, but not only did they find Rhea, but the actual power source she was after, the Elixir Wells, which was revealed to be floating rocks that contain a mystical sap that helps Senpou make his ship fly. Originally I thought it was the Tree of Being's scrap of bark that made Senpou's galleon fly, but now these Elixir Wells contradict that, saying they were the power source behind Senpou's flying ship. Okay, a bit contradicting there, but nonetheless, okay, nice to know. Anyway, Daltech makes our heroes invisible, so our heroes can get the jump on Rhea, but the spell wears off sooner than expected, alerting Rhea to their presence and making her summon the next beast, LARNAK, who was looking at Eleanor. Great. Eleanor quickly joined Tom, and together they did their best to fight off LARNAK. They do confirm that LARNAK is a female, so that's nice to know. Eleanor's arrows had no effect against LARNAK's big shell. The beast also possessed the power to make her wings buzz so fast they could not only create powerful gusts, but a fierce buzzing sound. They came up with a plan to knock LARNAK into Rhea's ship, but all that did was make her retreat. Daltech used his magic to trap the pirates, and LARNAK came back for round 2. Tom tried to trick LARNAK into smashing into a rock, but instead of dying, she deformed into a swarm of locusts. You know, so far it doesn't appear that the beasts are under Rhea's control. MENOX was captured by Rhea due to her bidding, and LARNAK just showed up with where our heroes were, so that's just, a coincidence, really. Tom and friends were caught by the locusts, and Rhea ordered her beast to toss them into the Elixir Wells. So now I have the proof I wanted. Rhea does have control of these beasts, which is ironic, because last chapter I said it doesn't look like she's controlling these beasts, and then the next chapter it literally tells me that she is in control. Really? But yeah, she's in control. One-Eye threw in a deadly potion into one of the Elixir Wells, but before anything else, the pirates began throwing weapons. LARNAK returned in her beast form and spat out a sticky goo that was also hardening our heroes' bodies. So she spat out this sticky goo, which is now hardening our heroes' bodies. It's the kind of goo that she uses to make a cocoon on herself, so that's nice, where she'll be able to shed her skin. That gives some detail about this goo, which is I like. Rhea said they would either suffocate in the hardening goo, or they would somehow be able to survive and LARNAK would eat them anyway. Either way, their outcome seemed harsh. Tom was suffocating, but with his last dying breath and inner strength, he broke free. Then he did the same for his allies. Once free, Tom had a plan. He told Eleanor and Daltok to secure some boats. While Tom dipped his shield into the elixir wells, Tom dipped his shield into the elixir wells which he was near. This caused his shield to fly, which Tom used as a surfboard to surprise Rhea and her forces. She got so ticked, she summoned back LARNAK. So every time she gets ticked, she'll summon back the beast, because she can't do it herself. Tom fought off LARNAK. Yeah, I was supposed to say Tom and somebody fought off LARNAK, that's weird. Tom fought off LARNAK, which caused Rhea's boat to be destroyed. So she hopped on to One Eye's boat and tossed One Eye overboard, ordering him and LARNAK to kill our heroes, while Rhea, our villain, fled the scene. While Eleanor and Daltok tried to stop the pirates, they planned to set up explosives to destroy the wells, so no evil force can use them again. That would stop Rhea's plan, I wouldn't lie, so I do like that Tom is thinking of the bigger picture in how to stop Rhea. Instead of beating her beasts, he's targeting her objective, so she has no plan. LARNAK was tough, despite Tom winning, dodging her attacks, and seeing what he believed to be a weak spot on the LARNAK's back. She quickly deformed into her swarm form to stop him. Then, when she reformed, Tom spotted LARNAK's underbelly. LARNAK's underbelly was not so protected like previous beasts before her. So yeah, once again we have another beast with an underbelly as its weakness. We also learn when an explosive blast went off, it affects LARNAK, so that's something to know, causing her beast form to be flown back. Or in a swarm form, it confuses her locusts. So if she has like this blast of loud sound in her ear, in her beast form it will flow her back, it will push her back. In her swarm form it will confuse her locusts. But while Tom was going for the belly, his shield was running out of elixir and he fell from the sky. And when he fell, he was separated from his shield. Tom tried to grab his shield, but it was too late. Tom fell into one of the elixir wells, causing his entire body to float uncontrollably. Soon after, LARNAK was pursuing, yet again. Tom had no choice but to remove his protective clothes in order to get back to the ground level. Now Tom had to defeat LARNAK in his underwear. Charming. Tom had an idea. There was a well that Eleanor and Daltok had secured some explosives to. Tom signaled his allies, and when the timing was right, when the swarming menace was right under the well, boom! Down went the well, and down went LARNAK. The slaves were free, and while Daltok got Tom his clothes back, Eleanor informed them that Rhea had taken enough elixir to carry out her plans. So spotting one remaining flying boat, they took it and pursued Rhea. Tom knew where she was headed, the jungles, because in order to create a fleet, she would need a huge wood stockpile. Awesome. There it is, guys, my overall analysis of LARNAK the Swarming Menace. I did a few scuffles here and there, but nothing too major, I think. As you can see, I love this book. LARNAK the Swarming Menace is a far superior book than its predecessor, MENOX, because there wasn't really much to MENOX, and there wasn't really much because, of course, the book is relying on setup, so you couldn't really have that enjoyment of an adventure. But now that we're in the series, now that the shackles of setup are out of the way, awesome, great book this is. So let's go as we go with the characters. Tom, this is once again, you could say this is another Tom focus because he's the main character, but it actually works out pretty well. He does have some weak points. He does have some, like trusting One Eye at the start, and that leads to the downfall. But he does get some brown points coming back in. He's like, no, there's no point to get my shoe back. We've got to go and continue this quest. And then he thinks out his tactical stuff comes back into play, where he every time he sees an opening to beat LARNAK, he'll go for it. Oh, her underbelly. Oh, her back. Oh, we can use the environment of the elixir wells to crush her. Hey, let's destroy the elixir wells to stop Rhea. I like this. Right now, Tom is so tactical in this book. He's thinking with his mind instead of his strength every time. One step after another, like a stepping stone. And I really love it. And I do like Tom in this book. Probably the best I've ever seen him, arguably. I mean, you could argue that in other books, but right now, this series probably, I think Tom is so tactical in this book, and I do like that. Eleanor, once again, she gets shafted due to Tom, because Tom is beast in this book. Yeah, but she does get her point. We do learn from her that arrows don't affect LARNAK. We also learn a few things. She does tell Tom and Daltic that Rhea has acquired still some more elixir, so she can carry out her plans at the end. So she does help there, and she does help with the explosives to kill LARNAK, which is awesome. And yeah, Daltic does that too, but that's 50-50 on both their halves. Going over to Daltic real quick, he is shafted, but his magic does help out, giving back Tom's clothes, making a net to stop the pirates. He doesn't get much to do, but what he does, when he does get the time to shine, it's really awesome. I'm not going to go over One Eye, because he's sort of a henchman goon I don't really give a care for. Rhea is that villain who likes to let other people do her battles for her. She never fights her own battles at all. So she always sends her beast, and even when it fails, she'll still send the same beast. Okay? And then when she fails her plan, but this time, I guess she's terrible, because this time she still got what she needed, and then she left. So, there, she gets some brownie points for that, but that's all she gets so far. Oh, I should also mention, going back to Tom real quick, another tactical thing about Tom I like is at the end of this book, we see him, hey, she's going to the jungle, because wood, she needs wood to make her ships and all that stuff, which also is, I do like that the writers, whoever wrote this book, said, hey, she's going to the jungle to get the wood, because that's nice setup for the next beast, which we'll get to the end. Awesome. I do like that connection where they weave one book into the other, like, hey, a jungle's coming up next time, and like, I know what the beast is. Yep, I got that. We did Rhea, so we're going straight to LARNAK. LARNAK is a very interesting beast, very versatile. She's got goo, she's got a hard shell, she's immune to arrows, she's got powerful wings that can create gusts, and a buzzing sound in her wings that can affect her enemies. And we also find out some weaknesses of this beast too. Explosives, and her underbelly, that's a weakness. Her underbelly is a weakness, and of course she's got, when explosive blasts go off, in her beast form, it will push her back. And in her swarm form, it will confuse the locust. And yeah, she has a swarm form like a previous beast. What was it? I forgot. It's that giant ant creature. It's not coming to mind right now, but it was in a previous book. But I do like that we have another swarm beast that can create itself through bugs. Awesome. Awesome book. LARNAK the Swarming Menace was so... It was actually, my friend Adam Ferns thinks this is going to be a bad book because of the image itself, but get past that, it's a great overall story, I think. And I think beast-wise, it does come back a number of times. And when the way it works, I think, is when she the shedding skin thing. I think what she does is when she feels like her body's getting too old, she'll need to get a new one. So she'll spit out her her ooze goo and ooze herself, and then get out of that shell and make a new body. So she's like refreshed. So there's that. That's my explanation of how her shedding works. But yeah, this is it, guys. My overall thoughts on LARNAK the Swarming Menace. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, go subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell button right in the corner so you can stay tuned with all Beast Quest related topics on my channel, and various other content on there. And as you know, there is of course an upcoming Q&A for 600 subscribers coming, so I'll put an annotation down in the link below. But yeah, that's all for this time. Join us next time as we continue on with Beast Quest Series 22, and join us next time with the next beast, JUROG, Hammer of the Jungle. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest Series 22, Book 3, JUROG, Hammer of the Jungle. That's right, guys, this is Series 22 of Beast Quest, and like always, in-depth story analysis and my overall thoughts on this epic adventure. So like always, let's get through with this. Tom and friends were heading towards the jungles to stop Rhea from gaining wood to create her new invading fleet that would attack Avantia. However, our heroes were attacked by a sudden storm. They tried their best to fight it in their flying boat. The flying boat they had swiped from Rhea. However, it was no good. Their boat was going to crash. Daltek told them to brace themselves as he prepared a magic spell. Tom and friends crashed in a pool of water, which Daltek conjured to soften their crash. Our heroes carried on until coming across a village. The people told them to leave as they assumed our heroes were pirates. So pressing onwards, they came across a small boy named Isaac, who also accused them of being pirates. He said that he had escaped the pirates, but he would not go back to the village until he rescued his father. Then suddenly the group heard the pirates approaching. Tom and friends fought off the pirates in a nice little battle. Then by taking their uniforms, they planned to sneak into Rhea's slave area with ease. But after a bit of pacing, they found evidence that a beast was here. Eventually, our heroes reached the area where the slaves were being held. They were about to free them when the beast was approaching. Our heroes met Jurog, who used his tail as a mace-like weapon. Tom and Eleanor gave their weapons to Isaac while our heroes freed the workers, but told them not to run until Tom gave a signal. When Tom spotted a worker in pain, Rhea came and questioned why Tom wasn't whipping the slave. She ordered him to whip the slave, otherwise she would feed them both to Jurog. A nice bit to note is Rhea mentions she has a low respect for her deceased father. Can't say I blame her, he was a pathetic villain. Before Rhea questioned why he wasn't attacking any further, Isaac tried to make a surprise attack on Rhea using Eleanor's bow and arrows. However, Daltek quickly pulled him back. Rhea, wanting to know who attacked her, summoned Jurog to go find out and pound the attacker. Tom tried to stop Jurog. Rhea questioned why he was stopping Jurog, because she thinks Tom is a pirate working for her, but she doesn't know that. Tom ignored, using his magical strength to pull Jurog Tom ignored, using his magical strength to pull Jurog back, and after a scuffle, Tom hid. Thinking he lost Jurog, he planned to leave, only to be crushed a few moments later. Tom was saved by Eleanor, who brought Tom his weapons. They removed their disguises and got their second wind, pushing Jurog back, until the Hammer of the Jungle had taken enough. He broke a tree, making it timber towards Eleanor. Eleanor was crushed by the falling trunk. Tom entered rage mode, and with his new-found rage, he managed to overpower Jurog and scare him off. Tom then freed Eleanor, healed her broken bones, and with his green jewel, and our heroes formed a plan to defeat Jurog. Using the old method that helped defeat Claw, they planned to lure Jurog away from the trees. However, that quickly turned around when Jurog trapped our heroes in a ring of trunks implanted, a ring of earth-implanted tree trunks is what I'm trying to say, like that. Which does show that the beast is smarter, as he uses, he plants all these tree trunks in a rat. He tosses the tree trunks, and they all land around in a circle, so like a cage of tree trunks, if you get what I mean. Tom and Eleanor were trapped after Rhea bragged about her supposed victory. Instead of ordering Jurog to kill our heroes, she instructs him to go back to work to keep the slaves at bay. That's stupid. You have your enemy trapped, but instead of killing him, which you clearly could do, you decide instead just to leave. Okay, that's great planning, Rhea. As expected, Tom eventually finds a way to get out of the trap. Tom dismisses Eleanor while he deals with Jurog alone. So Tom bumps into Daltek, who has created a chain, and the two have a plan to wrap the chain around Jurog. And surprisingly, with an element of surprise, it worked. The villagers swarmed in on Jurog, and Isaac's father cut off the beast's mace tail, which caused the beast to fade away. However, Rhea showed up. Not wanting her to escape again, Tom jumps on her boat and plans to strangle her neck. But she informs Tom it's too late. Her flying pirate ship armada is ready, and Tom put together that the final beast is guarding the vessels. But yeah, that was my little story analysis of Jurog, the Hammer of the Jungle. Overall, it was a bit sketchy, but overall I think I got the point across there. So like always, let's go over the characters and then my real thoughts. Tom, of course, gets the main focus on this book. He's the tactical hero. What does he do in this book? He does try to bring back old elements like let's use the claw method. He tries to help. He tries the old tactic of disguises. Other than that, I can't really think of much he does. I do like the section where he goes rage mode. He goes rage mode, because we don't see a lot of rage mode Tom in the series, so it's nice to have that back. Eleanor doesn't really get much to do. She just gets shafted at the last chapter and gets taken out. I'm not sure why. Probably I missed something, but whatever the reason, I felt like she could have been in there, because I do prefer it when they beat a beast together. Daltek does get surprisingly more to do. He creates the magic chain, he creates the magical pool that saves their fall. He does a lot of good stuff in this book, more than Eleanor does, I would say. So, it's more of, I do like that. They push Eleanor back, but on the bright side, Daltek gets a bit more to do. Isaac is the side character. I'm not really going to go home much, because every Beast Quest book has a side character, like that one-off guy. Rhea, still the same. She's a bit more pathetic in this book. I mean, in her previous one, she just runs away when danger gets worse. But in this one, she literally does something stupider while you have an opportunity to kill your enemy, and instead of telling your beast to destroy Tom, you just send him back to doing the work, assuming that the trap will keep him there for a while. But then again, at the end of the book, we do find out that she's finished her army, or her, whatever her plan was, you know, her Armada fleet. But at the same time, they still need to do work on that, so yeah, 50-50. Jurog himself is a standard issue beast, nothing really special about him. He's just really a giant monkey with a mace-like tail. And he's got 6 appendages. I wish they did more with the 6-limbed monkey thing, but yeah, what it is, it's okay. But his weakness is, if you chop off his tail, he dies. So he's kind of like Tychron in that way. Only the difference is, where Tychron, when he loses his tail, he becomes good. Jurog, when he loses his tail, he dies. So, there's that. And I do like the setup that we get with this series again, just like with Jurog. Not with Jurog, but like LARNAK, was it? But like at the end of that book, it says, oh, next time we're going to the jungle, so you can see what the monkeys come in. And this one hints like, nope, the final beast is with the pirate ship, so you know what's coming next, the sea beast. Oh, that's gonna be good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Jurog. Comparing to LARNAK, LARNAK is far superior, I think. Jurog is just kind of there, it doesn't really stand out to me. Does it surpass, what was the first one? I can't remember the first one, let me just check. Oh, I remember now. I would say it's better than MENOX. Yeah, I would say it's better than MENOX. Jurog's better than MENOX. He's in the middle. LARNAK is still the king of Series 22 for me. But I think NERSEPHA might have a good chance to... we'll get to that. NERSEPHA might have a good chance to top him because, yeah, she is the most intimidating beast of all. So join us next time, guys, when we wrap up Series 22 with NERSEPHA, the cursed siren. Till next time, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest, Series 22, Book 4, NERSEPHA, the cursed siren. So like always, in-depth story analysis and my overall thoughts on this epic adventure. Let's get to it. Before I start, I should mention I hope to see the tokens get mentioned in this book, as we haven't encountered them yet. So let's begin. Tom felt defeated. He was knocked off Rhea's ship and left to heal his injuries while Rhea made her departure. The people of the jungle offered a route to where the Armada would be departing, the Bay of Heroes. A mother volunteered to come with them as her sons were being held prisoner there. The villagers helped build a raft, and with some emotional goodbye, they were off. Their guide told them that the place was called the Bay of Heroes because when four former masters of the beasts who defeated the evil Eris and the beasts of Makai, they would go to that bay. Speaking of which, they got there, but Tom wondered, with Rhea's main ship in the air, how would he reach her? Tom asked Daltek to create a distraction. He did so with some illusions of themselves on the raft they made. The guide instructed where her sons were being kept, and they departed, leaving Daltek and the guide at bay. Tom slowly snuck on the raft until the time was right. He leapt off, and the pirates blasted the raft, believing he was dead, so he would have the element of surprise. He climbed on the anchor chain and hopped on board, going for Rhea. Finally, it was time. Tom tried to get to Rhea, but she just about caught Tom in her sights, pushing him back. Then the pirates joined the fray, and Tom was outnumbered. Tom pleaded with the prisoners to help him, but they were too scared. Rhea then summoned the final beast, NERSEPHA, to take care of Daltek and the guide. One of the prisoners on board Rhea's boat was revealed to be one of the guide's sons. However, it was too late. The guide fell into the water. Rhea ordered the armada to set sail, and Tom had a choice to make. Either stop Rhea and her armada, or save the guide from drowning. It's funny, Rhea's best villain moments come at the final book of Makai. Wow. Kind of a bit bored. Like, she finally acts cool in the final book, really? Tom made a leap from the chain links and slowly climbed down. Despite the pirate's efforts to try and pulling him up, Tom reached the water, only to find the final beast of Makai. NERSEPHA had captured the guide in her scaly hand. Tom had a scuffle with NERSEPHA, and she revealed her plan to Tom. Once Rhea had killed the people in Navantia, NERSEPHA would be able to eat their bodies. Then NERSEPHA revealed that Rhea was also planning to invade the other kingdoms too. Eleanor shot an arrow, giving Tom the moment he needed to rescue the guide, and bring her back to one of her sons. Tom prepared to jump back on Rhea's ship, but NERSEPHA came back with her dagger arm, aiming at Tom. Tom dodged NERSEPHA's dagger arm, and just in time. So Tom dodged NERSEPHA's dagger hand just in time, as he jumped on the anchor chain. However, he noticed that NERSEPHA had got her dagger hand stuck in the chain. This would be a perfect opportunity to finish. This would be a perfect opportunity to finish off NERSEPHA, but Tom thought of the bigger picture, to stop the invasion. He climbed on board, leaving NERSEPHA to dangle on the anchor chain. Tom fought Rhea off. After dodging a cannon, the prisoners finally decided to make a rebellion and stand against the captors. A decent scuffle with Rhea, Tom seemed victorious. However, NERSEPHA had returned and was climbing on the deck, so either NERSEPHA can breathe out of water, or she has some water on her body left, giving her some time before succumbing to death. Interesting. Tom was ready for NERSEPHA, and with some inner strength, he swung his sword so powerful he managed to slice off NERSEPHA's dagger arm. Ironically, it's revealed by removing the dagger arm released a hidden amount of water within NERSEPHA's body. It was this water supply that kept her alive. So she had like this inner water supply that was keeping her alive. And now she's lost it, she no longer exists. So that's ironic. It ties up my question I had with NERSEPHA last chapter about how was she able to breathe out of water. But it kind of makes sense now because she has like an inner water supply, and that anchor, that dagger arm was basically a plug keeping it in her body. So Tom gets into another fight with Rhea, and this time we all see the prisoners on every ship rebel against the captors, which caused all the ships to explode and catch fire, while the prisoners took lifeboats to safety. However, one of the falling boats was heading to Rhea's dying ship, and Rhea vowed if she was going to die, she would take Tom with her. Okay, so I have a slight bit more respect for Rhea now. Too bad it's at the end of her season, really. Tom managed to slip from Rhea's grasp, and instead of running, Rhea took the full force of the blast as Tom leaped off just in time to see Rhea's rain come sinking down to the bottom of the oceans of Makai. So yeah, Rhea is dead. The people celebrated. Tom summoned SABRE to take the 4 pieces of the beasts of Makai's. So Tom summoned SABRE to take the 4 pieces of the beasts of Makai to somewhere undersea they would never be found again. I did mention I wanted to see the tokens. I thought the tokens would be separate from the beasts. But no, they're actually parts of the beasts. So that caught me off guard. And just like the Broken Star, Tom decides to dunk the tokens of this respective series in the sea. Okay? Tom says that this quest is over, but he's never done fighting evil. And on a side note, the people of Makai changed the name of the island of Makai to an even worse name. They call it the Island of Free, which, to be honest, sounds like a boring name compared to Makai, but that's just me. But yeah, there it is, guys. My little analysis of NERSEPHA, the Cursed Siren. A decent little analysis. There's a few scuffles here and there, but nothing too major, I found. Let's go over the characters real quick. Tom, of course, he's the main hero. He gets to defeat the beast. He's the one who figures out how to get on top of the chain to stop Rhea's flagship. He figures out how to beat the beast. He makes the decision to go and save the guide instead of going for Rhea. He makes all the right choices in the end. Eleanor gets shafted in this book, so Tom could be the hero. Which again, you know how you know how I feel about that. I do prefer it when they team up and take down the beast together. But Eleanor did do something. She did help the prisoners rebel against the captors on the other ship, so there's that. Daltic got a bit to do in the first act, where he made some illusions. The guide was there to be a damsel, sadly, that's all she was there for, apart from that one scene where she helped guide them down the river. Rhea finally gets to be a badass, but she dies in this book, so kind of redundant, really. But I do like what she does. Like, you can either save this person or stop my invasion. And then you've got that scene where, like, oh, if I'm gonna die, you're coming with me. But the funny thing is, that she sees that the falling ship is gonna come down crashing on her. Instead of running away from it, she just stands there or sits there crouching. I guess she just accepts her fate, similar to how probably her father died. I don't know though, because I never saw how Senpei died. So hopefully that's in a special book and we'll find out how. If not, I can just go with my imagination. But Rhea was an interesting main villain. But you never know, we could probably see her again. Probably, because we've had all the other villains return in some extent. But you never know. And then you've got, that's a bit of NERSEPHA herself, the Beast, who I want to go on to. The way I think she works is, looking at her design, she seems to be more like part plant, part sea creature, and I think like the fact that she's like a sea creature coral thing is how she's able to absorb water like a sponge, and all that water goes inside her body, and then the only way to get that out of her body is by chopping off the dagger arm. That's just how I see it. And of course, since she's a plant-like beast, she can blend in with her surroundings. She doesn't really have any sort of siren-based like abilities like I thought she would have, like to lure or subdue her enemies, like sing to them or like enchant them to death, or how I expected it to. No, she's just another like sea warrior type beast, really. Kind of like what's his name, Spikefin. So yeah, just a female version of Spikefin, really. Bit of crafty and more useful, I would say, because not many beasts can go out of water and go on land, but they found a clever way to get it around with. So overall, I think NERSEPHA the Cursed Siren is probably the best book in Series 22, but that's just my opinion. So, there it is, guys. My little read-up on NERSEPHA the Cursed Siren. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, go subscribe, the good stuff. Hit the notification bell right in the corner to stay in tune with all Beast Quest related topics on this channel, and various other content on my channel as well. And of course, there is an upcoming Q&A at the end of this month on July 31st. So if you haven't already, make sure to go and check that video out. And join us next time as we go on to Series 23, which is of course called The Shattered Kingdom. Starting off with, hopefully I'm pronouncing this name right, Querzal, the Swamp Monster. So yeah, Querzal. That's how I'm going to pronounce the name anyway. So join us next time, like I said, where Querzal, the Swamp Monster, awaits. Next time, guys. Peace.